Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of HRD 631, The Adult Learner. On Monday, we will be starting week number 6 of our class. And once again, I want to thank everybody for putting in the effort and staying up on top of the materials, participating in the discussion forums. So let's get to week number 6. Week number 6 is really, to me, it's a continuation of adult learning theories. And these two ideas and theories that we're going to be talking about this week, I believe many of you are familiar with them, and or you've heard about them, and or you've actually done some activities relating to either one of these. So what I'm talking about in this week, we're going to be looking at transformational learning or transformative learning. People say it either way. Either way is okay. But transformational learning is about change, dramatic, fundamental change. And then the other one is experiential learning. And for those that have ever done a rope course or this is, in a nutshell, learning by doing. So I want to just talk about transformational learning a moment. Now, this is a type of learning that results in a change, almost always dramatic, a fundamental change in the way that we see ourselves in the world. This whole theory was really started by Jack Mezirow in 1978. And since then, it's been, like I mentioned in here, it's been debated, it's been critiqued. To me, it is profound type of learning that results in a change in a person. And at the beginning of this cycle, we'll get into the steps throughout the week. There's videos I'd like you to take a look at. There's a PowerPoint I put together, but I'll walk you through the materials. But I wanted to stress that this type of learning, transformational learning, is really a fundamental shift in how you see the world. And it's more than a little tweak. It just is pretty dramatic. And according to Mezirow, the first stage of this type of learning is called a disorienting dilemma. So basically, you do not know, there's something that kind of rocks your world. And it could be something like your parents divorcing, or you are divorcing, or death in the family, or I'll give you my 2 cents on from my own experience, and it's in my learning autobiography. But there were 2 things that happened to me. I haven't had a drink for 31 years, almost 32 years now. But what happened to me was I was fired from a job, a manufacturing job that I thought was the best job in the world. Actually, I hated the job, and it was just what I was caught up in the time in my late 20s and early 30s. I went from a job that I was good at and probably was more suited to me to something where I was wearing a 2-piece suit and white shirt and wingtips. And 32 years ago, the week before Christmas, I was pulled into my boss's office and was fired and was physically walked out of the manufacturing plant. Now, this sent me on a spiral, and that was my disorienting dilemma. The world that I had kind of known, I had expected I would continue excelling at it, just came kind of crashing down. And without getting into all of the details, and fast forward to I don't know, maybe a year after that happened, I was the disorienting dilemma was I was fired from a job. It rocked my world. And as you'll see in Mezirow, at the end of the first part is the disorienting dilemma, and then basically you learn to accept it and you move to a newer life. But my whole world, my whole idea of being what it was to be a breadwinner, a man, everything tied in with that, tied in with me and what I thought things should be, how they should unfold. Didn't happen that way. So maybe some people in our class have experienced a pretty major disorienting dilemma, but I will say that it does start with something pretty dramatic, and it's more than just a shift of views. It really changed the trajectory in a very positive way. And I look back now in that period and say, I was never suited for that type of work. And yes, I was fired. I'm not embarrassed about it because it's part of my story. And as the result of that, my whole life changed for the better. So I am looking forward to reading about everybody's, you don't have to talk about your disorienting dilemma, but in the discussion post, I think this week is going to be, we will have a rich discussion. So what I'd like you to do, read in our textbooks, chapters 7 and 8. We have electronic reserve articles, and then a discussion forum. Now, you do not have to answer all of these questions, but if somebody really wants to, you could put all of these somehow into an actual discussion forum. But I'll get into that in a little more. Couple of weeks, tomorrow evening, October 2nd, I would like you to submit your exploration project question. Now, a lot of people have reached out to me saying, what do you think about this? And I shoot them my comments. This is just the question that you want to explore in your exploration project. So this is the first step. And on October 16th, we have our first learning reflection. Actually, it's the only learning reflection paper. I used to have 2 of these in the class, and I thought that was too much, so we just have 1. And I'll have more information on that. So things to do. Take a look at the overview, Advanced Organizer for week 7. Here are the electronic reserve articles. And I say they're optional. I'd really like you to read them, but if you're just inundated with too much to read, then just read the text. A great TED Talk on experiential learning. And then I have a PowerPoint presentation right there. PowerPoint presentation on transformational and experiential learning. These are chapters 7 and 8 in the book. So that is it. Here's the discussion forum. You're all pros at this. Go in here, click on that. And by the way, I will have this week, I will have your grades for the first 4 weeks, participation grades for the first 4 weeks of the class. We have coming up the question, which is due tomorrow. It's just the question. You don't have to write anything about it. I'm just interested in what your question is. So that is it for week number 6. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please let me know. And I think we'll see how things go this week. I just made this week's material ready. What you're seeing now is the video from last week. So as soon as I get this video recorded, I'll swap this one out and you'll get the new one also in the announcement. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you still don't know what your exploration question is, you can always send me a couple and beforehand, and I'll comment on that, but don't feel like this has to be perfect. I will give you feedback on your exploration project question. So nobody's behind the 8 ball. I know a few people have already submitted their question. This is the question and not your entire project. Okay, everybody, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help. If you want to Zoom with me or talk to me on the phone, we can do that. Have a good week and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye, everybody.